But I think 52nd Street is definitely the more consistent and cohesive album because it does have a theme because it talks about him. It's about him in L.A.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, you've got Big Shot, you've got My Life, you've got Honesty, Zanzibar, I think is a great song.
Oh, yeah.
Stiletto, yeah.
Oh,
that sax on Stiletto. But I think that he hits a stride there with The Stranger that carries through An Innocent Man. My favorite Billy Joel album is Nylon Curtain.
Yep, we've had this.
I think it's his Nebraska pretty much. It came out right around the same time. It's got Allentown, Goodnight Saigon, the aforementioned Pressure, which you can argue doesn't age terribly well with all the synths, but I think it's still it's pretty strong. And it's got it's basically it's almost like his Revolver kind of, because it's definitely a Beatles album.
Yeah.
Like when you listen to that outside of Goodnight Saigon and Allentown, if you listen to Laura and No Surprises and things like that, I mean, even Where's the Orchestra, it's definitely a pretty heavy McCartney influenced album.
And is it? Would you think it's the only one? Not the only one, but it's him starting to be more socially aware.
Well, yeah, because it's got Goodnight Saigon on it and Allentown. I mean, that's.
I've never considered him to be like until that point.
He wasn't a political songwriter at all.
So I would even argue he's no.
Well, you think about it, Goodnight Saigon is 2 years pre-Born in the USA.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also a self-professed history buff.
Yeah.
Which is where We Didn't Start the Fire comes from. But, you know.
River of Dreams, though, I kind of would... I'm happy it was his last.
Well, because he basically post An Innocent Man, he didn't have a great album.
Yeah. Well, you know...
There were bright spots.
I like Stormfront. I mean...
Stormfront's got some solid songs. Again, it's got some bright spots on it. Well, I mean, And So It Goes is a great song. Yeah. There's the Downeaster Alexa is pretty good. I think I Go to Extremes is solid.
It's a good running song.
Yeah.
It's almost ruined by the fact that Lindsay Lohan has the lyrics tattooed on there.
Oh, does she?
Yeah,
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yeah. Because I can't not like... I like running to it, but then I can't help but think sometimes that there's this picture of her somewhere with the lyrics tattooed on the side of her body.
That's insane. I wouldn't picture her. I wouldn't peg her for a Billy Joel fan, at least enough to get a tattoo on her.
I think she thinks it's clever. It's a clever comment on her, her insanity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But...
I think she's younger than both of us. I don't know, where...
But Billy Joel's timeless.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I mean, that's been about 20 minutes of Billy Joel Corner.
Yeah.
So, we had talked about this being just a comparison, like a recap of season 2 versus season 1 of The Good Place. But,
It is sort of like comparing The Stranger to 52nd Street.
It kind of is, because The Stranger's got the big hits on it, possibly the most memorable singles, but 52nd Street is more consistent.
Right.
And it has a cohesive through line. Now, you could say, as you were saying, as you said, I should say, that is a direct comparison to season 1 of The Good Place is The Stranger, and season 2 is 52nd Street.
Yeah.
Which, does that make season 3 the Nylon Curtain?
Or
could it be Glass Houses?
Ooh. I like that. I like that comparison a lot.
I think we're yet to see their Nylon Curtain.
Yeah. The Nylon Curtain's coming.
The Nylon Curtain could be season 4.
Yeah. Which is in the works.
Yeah, well, we already know Well, we can't say because we haven't talked about season 3 yet.
Yeah.
But let me just say,
because as we have talked about many times,
yeah,
I ruined it for someone.
You did. This is true. This is true. But without giving away the story, season 4 is going to have some themes, some stuff it's got to deal with, and that points to it being the nylon curtain of The Good Place. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I think that it's actually a more apt comparison of The Good Place to Billy Joel through that 4-album arc than it is to a lot of popular songwriters.
Well, even I mean, this isn't giving anything away, but there are some moments in season 3 that do directly deal with the events of today.
Yes,
there are.
Well, that's true.
There are literal comments on that, like it's blatantly obvious. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't listen to Billy Joel on the way here, so I'm not sure if we want to go. It could be the nylon curtain, and season 3 could be the nylon curtain, and would be political.
Well, okay, let's the
contemporary.
Even thinking about Glass Houses. Mm-hmm. Glass Houses is an interesting. So if you think about the singles off of that album and start comparing them like side by side, just without discussing season 3 of The Good Place, forthcoming probably this fall when it hits Netflix.
Yeah,
it's going to be a long hiatus, folks.
First, let's get the introductions out of the way.
Oh, yeah, a good 20 minutes into it. This is What the Fork.
Yeah, I'm Jason.
I'm Jared.
We are available at
What the Fork Pod
on the Twitter and the Instagrams.
Yep.
I am at Jason E. Kyle, Keil, on the Twitter.
And I am at LTD_engagement, also on the Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Hit us up. And the email address is
whattheforkpod@gmail.com.
All right.
Yep. Yep. And I don't know. Susu might be getting her own account soon.
So
as I become a crazy cat man.
Yeah. And I'll say for Jared where things may sound a little different this week, and from point forward because the office has moved.
Oh, that's right. This is well. It's the second recording in the new digs because the first recording I did was the intro to this week's limited engagement.
Okay.
Well, and the intro to the album Infinitum, which starts the Squeeze series, which I'm super excited about.
Which I am too, even though I am biased. I would participate in it.
It's I'm super un-Donnie like. I'm in my element. I am very much in my element discussing Squeeze.
Peak Jared.
Yep, that's right. So watch out. But no, I honestly love both Amy Mann and Fountains of Wayne, but I could talk about Squeeze for fucking ever. Mm-hmm. So and
you kind of did.
And your article that came out today, the article on you.
Oh yeah,
mentions Squeeze.
Yes, it does because I like Squeeze.
Mm.
So
and what's not to like?
Exactly. There.
What? So how did that? I read through the article. How did that come about?
Oh, so.
We're turning this apparently into a limited engagement. How did that come about for you?
Well, Jared, isn't this and this is practically the year anniversary of my limited engagement appearance.
Well, yeah, pretty close to it, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the genesis for this show.
Yes. So this is where our Brofest began.
Different location, same Brofest.
So what happened is, I do a lot of stuff with the events calendar on the Phoenix New Times, which is in print known as the 90-day section. Online, it's the best things to do in Phoenix this week.
Okay.
I had the person who I spoke to, her name is Marissa. She works for a public relations agency that was working with the Melrose Street Fair, which was about a few months ago. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we got to talking, and she says, hey, I do this column with the company and called me Monday. I'll give you a questionnaire, you fill it out, and we put it on the page. And took a few weeks because I've been so busy. But
which is a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's a
ton
good
of
thing.
writing assignments.
So I filled it out, just really easy, pretty painless, and she emailed me back today and said, "Hey, guess what's up?"
Nice.
And no, and immediately I got a lot of notice from like a lot of PR people within the area.
Very cool.
Who want see what I can do to help them, and because
want to help you promote this podcast because you mentioned it.
yeah, well, I mean, it felt important that What the Fork is a part of my life. It's and I don't not going to give up anytime soon. So if you want me, you got to
take the fork.
You got to take the fork. So that's but yeah, that's just something fun that I did, and I didn't realize that. I got a lot of emails immediately from people in PR like going, "Hey, there's this restaurant that's opening. There's this.
Nice.
You want to be on this panel?" And I'm like, "Whoa,
sweet! That's pretty cool."
Yeah. So I was pretty
that's
excited.
some good PR.
Yeah. So thanks, and Allison's a really good PR person. She was lovely to deal with.
Nice.
Which not that everyone. It's a tough job, so it was really nice working with her. So it's a tough job for people who, for everyone. So
yeah.
She does it well and seems to really like it. So
very cool. Well, so back to the Billy Joel comparison.
Yes.
Because apparently what this has turned into is an episode talking about The Good Place in comparison to Billy Joel.
yeah, it seems to be a good way to go.
It was, we talk about organic. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
So
you just listened to it happen, guys.
it happened all over the
It
place.
was a good segue. You see what I did there.
We just Billy Joel'd all over this podcast. But well, and he was even here in town just recently. Mm-hmm. So
I know I didn't get to see him, but
I did not either. I'm a little bummed, but also he's one of those guys where I get concerned that if I see him today, it's just not going to quite live up to my inner memory of him, and that's according to our friend Ed Masley, who covered that show. Mm-hmm. I should have been there.
Well, did you see him like 5 years ago when he was at Talking Stick?
I did not.
Or whatever it was
at the time.
Yeah.
What would that have been?
U.S. Airways.
Yeah.
So
previously America West.
So I went to that show. That was.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that was like the second or third show I reviewed for the New
So
Times.
I probably have more Billy Joel albums than you do, and you've seen him more than I have.
I've seen him twice.
Which is twice more than I've seen him live.
So you should see him at some point, but just know that from what I read in the New Times and in Masley's review, which is actually the show 5 years ago, is when I actually first met Mr. Masley. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it at the time, but much
like the Elvis Costello concert I went to, which both Mr. Masley and Mark Oxborough and Jason Woodbury were at. Yeah.
Yes. But anyway, it's pretty much, he does from what I read in both the New Times and Masley's article, it was the same show that he did 5 years ago. Pretty much.
Like almost verbatim?
Verbatim.
Well,
he did 5 years ago, which is fine because that's what he does at
Madison Square Garden
every month.
I don't know. But it sounded like he was doing a lot of deep cuts, which was nice. Like, I think he pulled out Zanzibar, he pulled out Vienna, and seen some Italian restaurant. But he talked years ago about how his range is just different as he's aged. And so some of the songs that, apparently like a lot of the songs off of An Innocent Man just aren't in his range anymore.
He can't do Uptown Girl anymore.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That, as far as Joel albums go, that's probably my least favorite song. Singles go for sure. And, also precursor to Springsteen's garage themed video with I'm on Fire, Billy Joel had his garage theme video with Uptown Girl.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then there's
what I'm discovering here is that actually Springsteen just keeps following Billy Joel.